The American Indian Museum Fellowship Program, I think, is a really interesting opportunity to engage with museum professionals and ask them the hard questions and have those necessary conversations, but also just expose yourself to fields and careers which you may not ever have the opportunity to do otherwise.
The American Indian Fellowship Program is a program for students like me, Native Americans, to go out in the museum field and go out and see different places and job opportunities and to learn about culture and stuff.
The museum program to me means it means an opportunity for students of American Indian background to connect spiritually and professionally in the museum world and other programs associated with that.
I chose to participate in this program because I really needed some hands-on experience outside of school in something in my area. I'm a history major and then minoring in American Indian Studies, so this fellowship was right in line with what I was looking for, and I got a lot more out of it than that, but that was my initial reason.
I got recommended this fellowship by a former student, a former fellow, and she said it was a really cool experience and I trusted her, so I signed up, I put in my application, and I got in.
Originally I tried joining last year because I just switched majors to history and I really didn't know professionally what I could do with a history major, and that is why I joined, because I wanted to explore what type of career opportunities were within the field, and so far I have learned there are a lot of fields that are available to me. It's just a matter of choosing what I would prefer to do it.
So I really love museums and I want to work in museums. I grew up going to them, and my mom is an archaeologist and anthropologist, so she always made sure that we had an appreciation for our history and our ancestry. And I got an internship in a museum and I really loved it, and so I decided to get a job in a museum, and then I loved it even more. And I think it's really important that we have more Native Americans in the museums, because I feel like they need that perspective, and we can't just be collaborators anymore. We have to work there, we have to have authority.
This program is unique because it is just for American Indian students, and all too often we're grouped with other students, but we have different interests and values than other students. And this gives us the opportunity to specialize in American Indian professional museum work or archaeology work. So it's a more specialized conversation we can have, and it gives us the opportunity to network more efficiently.
I think the fellowship is unique because a lot of the time trying to get a foot in the door in other Native communities and getting to know other natives around the state can be really challenging, and this fellowship gives you a great opportunity to meet these people and to enter these communities and try and create bonds to expand your future goals and options.
Really, I think every element of it is unique because it's founded in an Indigenous worldview and in Indigenous values. I think I felt safer than I ever have exploring, the often tumultuous history that Westernized powers have with Indigenous peoples. There were elders along with us, and they provided immense support, and they reminded us to take care of ourselves, and they were there if we needed to have a conversation or to just unload with what we saw or what we heard. So in that way, it was really unique.
My most memorable experience was definitely the people that I met. I mean, pretty much across the board, from the other fellows to the staff members to the interpreters and the speakers that we talked to. I mean, everyone we talked to was so supportive and so interested in really gave us a lot of good information. So I definitely appreciated all the people involved.
There was so much that we did. And I've lived in Minnesota all my life, and a lot of the places were brand new to me. So going up to Ely and doing the Wolf Center and going to Boys Fort. Lower Sioux I've never really spent a lot of time in, and I think they have a really cool museum.
My most memorable experience was Jeffers petroglyphs. I was with everybody else on the tour looking at all the iconography, all the petroglyphs, and it is an experience that you can't have unless you're there personally. And that's another thing I like about this fellowship, is because you're there in person, experiencing it, and instead of reading about it in a textbook. And you go to Jeffers petroglyphs and you just look at all of them and you realize how old this was and how your ancestors were here and they left their mark. And it almost inspires you and empowers you to leave your own mark. And that's what Jeffers petroglyphs provided me.
I believe this fellowship is important because I believe of all the sites we've seen, there's a transition from one side of the narrative to a new side of the narrative, which is the Native American perspective. And to continue that perspective within the field, I believe students like us need to be actively involved and need to be fully aware of what's going on. Before coming in this program, I did not know any of these issues that surround the field, like with NAGPRA, the Native American not having a voice, and many other issues that go along with it. And it enlightens me and makes me want to pursue that type of field so I can make a difference.
This fellowship, I think, really connects Native students or students who are interested in working with tribal communities to museums who don't do the best job at interpreting Native stories. So there's this huge opportunity for students to get in and get involved in these professions. There's been a void of tribal voices and indigenous voices in major museums, so it's starting to change, and I think this next generation will really push it.
The American Indian Museum Fellowship is important. I mean, look at any field, look at any discipline, and no matter what that is, I can almost guarantee you that Indigenous voices are missing. So it's immensely important, and throughout this whole fellowship, I felt like I had a voice. I felt like what I said mattered. The people that we were talking to, I don't know that I would ever have the opportunity to tell them what I think of their exhibit, to tell them what I think of their interpretation, and I think that's really important, and we need that, and it gives me immense confidence walking forward to be able to have those connections and to be able to have the knowledge that I've learned during the fellowship.
The fellowship like this is important because we don't want to forget our culture, and we want to go learn more about, as much as we can, about Native Americans and culture and job opportunities and like keeping it alive. And it's important for us to get out there because there's not much of a voice for us, and we want to be heard, and we don't want to be forgotten, and we don't want to forget the past. So it's important for us to get out there, get jobs like this, and get a voice for us so everyone can hear.